You are number one. Yes, you are, because if you're the leader or want to be the leader, we have to look at your leadership and facilitation skills within a meeting, because you perhaps want to improve yourself, maybe your career, your mindset, or your habits. You want to just keep repeating the same old patterns. Who would do that? We're going to get to the bottom of this now. As a best-selling author and researcher, I know that the research will tell us best. Marshall Kevill, Kane Adler, a great study out. The review of this shows that the reflection is not automatic. It requires supportive environments, skilled facilitation, and structured dialogue. Now, effective reflection happens when people feel safe, engage with others, and are guided to explore deeper thinking rather than staying at surface level understanding. Now, in our lives as middle-aged men, as leaders, we often believe that thinking things through is the thing to do, but in reality, we're looping the same thoughts without growth. Without structured reflection, conversation, or even safe environments, we struggle to process stress, career shifts, and say relationships and identity changes. And that leads to stagnation rather than true developmental growth. Now, the interesting thing from researchers Cabellis, Schaefer, and Siddiq, they noted that their study showed positive attitudes alone are not enough for change environmental support, that is resources, systems, leadership in place, which is absolutely critical. When facilitating, say, conditions are strong, people's attitudes translate into action. When they are, say, weaker or weak, even motivated individuals fail to implement change effectively. So therefore, if you're motivated and you keep going motivated, boom, 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 bang, 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 but you'll eventually burn yourself out. Together, these two studies show that personal growth and effective decision-making can depend on two things. One, internal reflection, and two, external conditions. Now, we all know externally conditions can change. The economy can change, for example. So that means the internal reflection, and if I do it myself, how I reflect on things is so important. One highlight: without deep reflection, people repeat patterns, okay? The other shows that without supportive environments, even strong intentions fail, meaning that real progress comes from both mindset and structure. How can we solve this? Well, we can build a structured reflection habit. If you take time, and time is in your working week, your 40-hour or extra hours week, to structure reflection for you, and not just be random, having random thoughts when you go to the toilet or when you go to the grocery store or anything like that, but instead structure it with prompts and write down on one column what worked, or question yourself what worked, on another column what didn't, and then say why. There has to be a gap between the two. If you write it down, it will deepen your clarity and your personal accountability. Now, this can be a personal journal, it can be an Excel worksheet or whatever. Once you're accountable to it, you're writing it down, you're putting it on a sheet of paper, and you're going to see it, and it's looking back at you. Also, create a safe thinking environment. Remove judgment, people, and time pressures, because when you're analysing, you'll only make mistakes. So we want to avoid all of that. Trust your reflection as learning, not as self-criticism. So think of yourself as being the big brother here, the person who is just kind of asking you the questions, giving a little bit of advice, and then when you link in with that particular time, and you write it down, and it's done, the book is closed, it's finished, you put it on a shelf, you analyse it again the following week, after the next meeting or whatever. Honest thinking, though, only happens in psychological safety, which means that you have to feel safe. And what I would say about that is, it's not just, be it you as the boss, that, oh, I'm not going to be fired, or there's not going to be an external economic shift in things, but also you in your personal life, that you feel safe. You don't feel the relationship that you have with another person or your children is going to actually break down. No, you're in a good time to open that book and constructively use the tools that have been mentioned for you to move forward. Talk to someone more experienced, always a good thing. Have a mentor, be that mentee. Seek out coaches or trusted peers, because that external perspective is gold. We all have blind spots. Think of going down that highway, going as fast as you can, your big lorry, you look back, big mirrors, but right there, what sneaks underneath? What is going underneath and getting in? Perhaps getting into our cab, into the back of our head, and suddenly it's in front of us, it's beside us on the seat, and it's grabbing that wheel and it's steering us differently. Don't rely on motivation alone. Yeah, it's cool for a while, but it burns out. The candle is burning on both ends if we're doing this. It fades. Systems sustain behavior. Build routines. Routines link in with systems more kindly. Intentions are great, but they must be followed by action. Structure with the systems, with the intention, with the action will be willpower over time, slow and steady. Remember that little turtle in the race? Prove. Always prove your environment deliberately. So that means, okay, I'm not ready for today or tomorrow, but when I'm ready, I'll buy this and I'll put it down here, and that'll work out for me when I need it. Upgrade your tools, your spaces, even if it's just a simple thing like putting a window there or changing the door to a glass door where you get more light in. Whatever increases your thought process, whatever gets you to think and study a little bit more on this topic. Look at the supports around you, the people around you, and at the same time remove hurdles or barriers that block action, because small environmental shifts are big behavioral changes. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you wish. Certainly comment, and let's get the conversation going. Learn though, that's another thing. We need to learn how to reflect properly. Again, you need to stand away from yourself here. It's a skill. It's not just thinking, oh, I should have done, would have done, could have done. Use guided questions and frameworks. You want to avoid the surface level, I'll do better this like next time I do it. It'll be fine. And then what gets analysed will get done. If you don't, you're actually just leaving it to chance. Try to get support, but balance independence with that by, say, taking responsibility for your growth. That's always a good thing. You're accountable. But don't isolate yourself completely, because growth happens between your self-work and your shared insight. So use the two together. Now, align beliefs with your actions. Like if you can check what you say you value, make sure it matches your behavior. Identify gaps between your intention and your execution, because the gun goes very fast, the bullet flies out. So what is up here then creates the action. You will get good with your process, but you have to adjust the systems, tweak them here and there to close that gap between what you're thinking to what you actually want to do. Things may be uncomfortable, so embrace that. Like discomfort in your reflection can be very challenging, and that in itself can be a bigger stress than what was created in the first place in order for you to have this process of thinking. Real growth, though, comes from confronting hard truths. Why do we need external crutches when we need to look inside for our own answers? Avoiding discomfort leads to stagnation. We need to be growing. So if you don't want to go there, it will catch up on you. Lean into difficult insights with curiosity. You can only learn. Now, if you combine the mindset and the system change, you get reflection, which improves our thinking. And therefore, the next time we get into this situation, we'll make a better decision. Remember your environment around you, because it will enable your action and will enable you also to sustain things. Both of these things together will give you that cushion so that you can power forward once you slow down and make that choice to critically analyze things. My takeaway here is, I promised it to you earlier on, be kind to yourself and sit down, slow down, and make sure what you're doing is for the longer term, rather than the impetuous teenager that I once was, and you were too, perhaps. Maybe, I don't know. Thanks for watching. Please like this video. If you subscribe, comment to say that you have, and we'll look after you.